and as a longtime admirer of Chuck Norris's martial arts prowess and filmography, I must say that diving into his cinematic journey has been quite the adventure. Each movie showcases a different aspect of his versatile talents, from action-packed thrillers to comedic parodies, and even westerns. Legendary figure Chuck Norris boasts a remarkable filmography that includes both well-known movies and some lesser-known gems that haven't received the attention they deserve. Known primarily for his electrifying martial arts performances in films, particularly karate, Norris also holds black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, and Tang Soo Do. Renowned for his tough persona and daring stunts, he has endeavored to expand his acting repertoire multiple times during his career. It's his martial arts prowess that truly sets him apart. In numerous memorable fight sequences, Norris often faced off against his long-standing friend and fellow performer, Bruce Lee, a skilled martial artist. It was Lee who inspired Norris to make his cinematic debut in the 1972 film The Way of the Dragon. Over 5 decades, Norris built an illustrious acting career, earning recognition as one of the leading figures in martial arts cinema. Despite numerous successful films, some of Norris's lesser-known projects, which have flown under the radar for many, are also part of his extensive filmography. As a cinema enthusiast, I found myself deeply engrossed in Forest Warrior, where Aaron Norris, Chuck's brother, skillfully directed. In this film, Aaron portrays the iconic frontiersman Jebediah McKenna, who met his untimely end after resisting the sale of his cherished forest land a century ago. Miraculously, he reappears as a seasoned martial arts master, compelled once more as to protect the very woods that were the cause of his demise from the relentless onslaught of loggers and big businesses. The film Forest Warrior was first released directly on video in 1996, thereby limiting the number of people who could watch it initially. However, it gained renewed attention in 2011 when a scene from the movie became popular online. In this movie, Morse performs a daring stunt by stopping a chainsaw with his bare hand, which only served to strengthen his image as a tough and seemingly invincible fighter. Forest Warrior was characterized by its slapstick stunts, fighting sequences, and an underlying message about environmentalism. In his debut main character performance, Norris portrays a truck driver in the series Breaker. His on-screen character aims to dismantle a criminal network involving kidnapping and trafficking that's embedded in a California city. Sporting vibrant blonde hair, Norris employs his martial arts abilities to combat the town's corruption. The film is brimming with truck stunts and hay-driving sequences, occasionally reaching humorous heights. Alongside Norris, Breaker features George Murdoch, Terry O'Connor, and Don Gentry. Despite receiving minimal critical acclaim upon its release, the film managed to rake in an impressive $12 million at the box office, making it highly profitable given its modest $250,000 budget. It's said that Chuck Norris, who was relatively new to the entertainment industry at the time, reportedly earned just $5,000 for his role in the movie. However, this humble beginning served as a stepping stone for him to establish a successful career in movies. In this movie, Norris portrays Sean Kane, a former San Francisco detective who leaves the force to seek justice for his slain partner's death. His mission leads him to uncover and confront an illicit Asian drug trafficking network. Accompanying Norris in the film are stars such as Christopher Lee, Richard Roundtree, Matt Clark, Mako Iwamatsu, and Maggie Cooper. The movie has a 39% rating from audiences on Rotten Tomatoes. This film echoes an anti-drug message that was common in many of Norris's 80s productions, while simultaneously displaying his martial arts abilities. Yet some audiences argue it does not fully utilize Norris's combat skills, resulting in underwhelming stunts. Critic Gene Siskel, among others, believe Norris aimed to transcend the action genre and establish himself as a versatile actor on the silver screen. 1982 Silent Rage is a blend of sci-fi action and horror. In this movie, Norris portrays a Texas sheriff battling an axe-wielding killer who has become indestructible following an inside experiment. Utilizing his martial arts abilities, Norris attempts to subdue the criminal and halt his spree of violence. Despite the film's emphasis on medical and scientific elements, it ultimately leans on Norris's traditional close combat techniques to bring the story to a close. The film, originally conceived with Norris as the star, blends various genres. Despite not strictly fitting into the slasher category, it carries the spirit of 80s horror slasher films. Michael Miller, the director, referred to the movie as a fusion of Kung Fu and Frankenstein in an interview. Upon its release, the film earned $10.5 million at the box office. From a passionate cinema enthusiast perspective, in the gripping cinematic world I've stepped into, I find myself as a police officer in San Diego, working alongside my courageous canine. We're not just any cops, we're on the trail of terrorists who threaten our city with bombings. The storyline is chilling, portraying various extremist factions such as White Hand Care, or C, nationalists, neo-Nazis, the Ku Klux Klan, and Aryan nations. With grit and determination, we managed to thwart their sinister plans and bring down some of the most dangerous criminals in our city. Norris's final theatrical release was Top Dog, which later transitioned to direct-to-video content for several years. The movie garnered negative feedback from critics, particularly because it presented severe themes that is a family-friendly buddy cop film featuring a dog. The release timing of the film was unfortunate, as it debuted only 9 days after the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing. On Rotten Tomatoes, not a single critic gave the film a positive review, with critics finding it both too extreme and a poor imitation of other police dog duo ISF. I passed for a good work of IS dog movie, ISSF. Now, all similar, and everyone works wanting to know, leads on my own. The film centers on Norris, a hardened LA cop chasing a merciless serial killer called the Terror who preys on women. Alongside this intense pursuit, Norris grapples with his own personal family struggles, which infuse the storyline with both dramatic and comical elements, reflecting the pressures of his high-tension profession. The film is adapted from a novel published in 1982 with the same title. However, though the movie is not acclaimed, it is a good showcase of Norris's skills and charm. It is filled with iconic one-liners and classic martial arts skills. It's a fighting-filled comedy that leans into the charm of the 80s action genre. However, it was also another attempt for Norris to expand beyond the role of a fighter and be seen in humorous or family-themed films. Despite some positive fan reviews, the movie has a 0% critical score on Rotten Tomatoes. In the realm of his numerous straight-to-video action movies, The Cutter finds Norris portraying a former police officer turned private investigator based in Spokane, Washington. The plot revolves around committed Norris's quest to locate a diamond cutter who's been kidnapped by a ruthless burglar. Alongside Norris, the film features Joanna Pacua, Daniel Bernhardt, Bernie Kopel, and Marshall R. Teague. And the Manuel Spica, where the film garnered unimpressive feedback from home viewers due to a perceived lack of impact in Norris's traditional fighting style. This left some feeling underwhelmed, and others noted that Norris appeared to sustain more blows than usual. As a result, the movie received a 25% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Similar to the classic 1984 film, Sidekicks revolves around a young boy discovering more about himself and the world by practicing martial arts. In this movie, a frequently overlooked and unwell boy forms an imaginary friendship with his action hero idol, Chuck Norris, who portrays himself in the film. Notably, the movie playfully mimics some of Norris's other films, such as Missing in the Action, The Delta Force, and The Hitman. In my opinion, as a movie critic, the character portrayed by Norris in this film seems to draw heavy inspiration from the venerable Mr. Miyagi of the Karate Kid of fame, filled with enigmatic teachings not just about martial arts, but also life's greater mysteries. It's an intriguing blend of action and wisdom. Despite its impressive $17 million domestic box office earnings, the film was met with a wave of largely unfavorable reviews. An esteemed cast, including Jonathan Brandis, Beau Bridges, Joe Piscopo, and Danica McKellar, joined forces alongside Norris, who also served as the film's executive producer.
In The Hitman, Morris portrays a Seattle police officer who, after perishing from a gunshot injury, is granted a fresh identity as an assassin. He then uses this disguise to infiltrate the underworld of organized crime. Essentially, Norris sought to create a film with a grittier atmosphere, delving into his ruthless alter ego within the semi-criminal world. According to the film, garnered both positive and negative critiques, but it still managed to gross $4.6 million at the box office, ensuring its success overall. Despite being produced in the 2013-90s, some viewers comment on its cinematography resembling that of an older production. The movie Lone Wolf McQuade belongs to the Western genre, blending elements of law enforcement. In this film, Chuck Norris portrays J.J. McQuade, a man who served in the Marines and is now a Texas Ranger. He tends to work independently. His home is secluded, where he resides with his pet wolf. The movie received generally favorable reviews and earned $12 million at the U.S. box office.
Originally intended for Clint Eastwood, the character McQuade eventually went to Chuck Norris instead. Notably, this role served as the foundation for Norris's highly recognized television series, Walker, Texas, and The Ranger. It is said that the creator desired Norris to portray a rebellious persona, contrasting his usual roles and emphasizing a more rugged image. This film significantly contributes Chuck Norris's acting career in movies, and solidifying him as a movie star over his other pursuits.